His hair bristled with rage. At the last minute, he swerved, swerved, and ran off. I stayed still. Two more chimps charged nearby. Then suddenly I realized I was alone again. All the chimps had gone. Only then did I realize how frightened that I had been. When I stood up, my legs were trembling. Male chimps, although they are only 4 feet tall when upright, are at least 3 times stronger than a grown man. And I weighed only about 90 pounds. I had become very thin with so much climbing in the mountains and only one meal a day. That incident took place soon after the chimps had lost their initial initial terror of me, but before they had learned to accept me calmly as part of their forest world. If Dave Greybeard had been among them, they probably would not have behaved like that, I thought. After my long days in a forest site, I looked forward to supper. Dominic always had it ready for me when I got back in the evenings. Once a month, he went into Kigoma with Hazen. They came back with new supplies, including fresh vegetables and fruit and eggs, and they brought my mail. That was something I really looked forward to. After supper, I would get out the little notebook in which I had scribbled everything I had seen while watching the chimps during the day. I would settle down to write it all legibly into my journal. It was very important to do that every evening while it was all fresh in my mind. Even on days when I climbed back to sleep near the chimps, I always wrote up my journal first. Gradually, as the weeks went by, I began to recognize more and more chimpanzees as individuals, some like Goliath, William, and Old Flo. I got to know well because Dave Greybeard sometimes brought them with him when he visited camp. I always had a supply full of bananas ready in a case the chimps arrived. Once you have been close to chimps for a while, they are as easy to tell apart as your classmates. Their faces look different and they have different characters. Dave Greybeard, for example, was a calm chimp who liked to keep out of trouble, but he was also very determined to get his own way. If he arrived in camp and couldn't find any bananas, he would walk into my tent and search afterward. All was chaos. It looked as though some burglar had raided the place. Goliath had a much more excitable, impetuous, impetuous temperament. William, with his long-shaved face, was shy and timid. Old Flo was easy to identify. She had a bulbous nose and ragged ears. She came to camp with her infant daughter, whom I named Fifi, and her juvenile son, Fagin. Sometimes adolescent Fabin came too. It was from Flo that I first learned that in the wild, female chimps have only one baby, only one baby every 5 or 6 years.